To make things work in the world today, we rely on technology in many ways, designing and building and making things go. Technologists are folks who run the show. We're talking about technology. Technology.
Welcome to episode 4 of Teknikast.
Welcome to the eggnog edition of the Teknik podcast.
Yes.
With your hosts Zanthas, Dymatic, Kori, and Uncle D.
Why do you have me last?
That's the way I thought. That's the order I thought of it in.
Chain of command.
Sounds good.
It's opposite week. Oh, speaking of opposite week, actually, next week, which is usually not a recording week, but since it's Halloween, we're throwing you nerds a bone. We have a special pre-recorded episode of the Teknik podcast, and for those of you interested in history, it may or may not be episode 0. Hint, it is. We'll be releasing that on Halloween.
Yes, Halloween day, probably.
Who all that's here was in that? All of us, right?
I think
Zanthas was.
I think it was me and you, and I think maybe Uncle Dean towards the end.
Was at the end, yeah.
Yeah, at the end I was like, what?
For those of you who don't know, that's actually our best episode by far. It was professional quality, nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
Yep, best of them all.
With world-class audio editing and that shit. And then after that, we might add a couple more dimensions to the podcast, because somebody in the channel raised a pretty interesting program, which I honestly didn't look into what the hell it was. Do you know what the VR podcast program is called?
I saw that, and I don't know what it is. I don't know who wrote that down.
All right, so what it is it's episode 5 of the Teknik podcast, if I can get this shit working. But it basically gives 3 dimensions to a podcast. So you get an avatar, and it shows like your mouth moving and stuff. But do you really think that'd be useful for a podcast to do that?
I think that's kind of creepy.
Just imagine the avatar for Dymatic.
It will be an old guy.
Yep.
Old guy laughing on the floor. If we're going by the beginning of this one.
The name of the program is Spot Rift.
Spot Rift.
Podrift or Podrift. Podrift.
Yes, it's an amalgamation of podcast and Oculus Rift, since it does use the Oculus Rift.
Yes.
I would like to see more VR stuff abstracted away from the Oculus, because there's so many VR hardware is being developed. It should be standardized a little bit, or they should at least try to, because people that have the Morpheus or whatnot won't be able to enjoy that. Freaking VR is probably going to start off like computers themselves did. It's going to be fragmented as shit at first, but it'll all come together.
Morpheus is Sony's, right? I think. I don't know.
I'm actually more excited about that than I am about the Oculus Rift, honestly. And Stowe likes to point out that VR already existed with the Virtual Boy.
That is very true.
It's true, but that's like saying that computing began with the abacus.
And the VR technology now doesn't leave you blind.
That too. Well, the extent of what I know about the Virtual Boy is from oh my god, that URL is from an episode of Pawn Stars, so I don't really have the authority to say anything on it. Honestly, a good-ass episode of freaking Pawn Stars. They had a lot of computer shit.
They do, and they also have cool swords.
Totally fake, though. If you ever go to if you ever go to the Pawn Stars place, they're like, oh, Chumley's working in the back. He can't be out here right now.
Are you serious?
Yeah. You know Chumley is probably just some like millionaire that rolls up every week to like, act stupid for people. But back on to VR. Something which is exactly what I was looking for a couple of days ago on the channel was just announced for phones. Have you ever done like calculus or any kind of math and thought, what the fuck, dude? How do you even...
Yes. I actually downloaded this the other day.
Do tell. Does it work?
It's iffy. I tried using it with handwritten equations, but it didn't really recognize it. But for printed, easy to read fonts, Times New Roman, stuff like that, it actually worked pretty well.
For those of you rather that don't know what we're talking about, it's this program where you hold your phone up to a math problem and it solves it for you, and also gives you a step-by-step breakdown of how to solve it. How is the step-by-step on it, by the way?
Well, step-by-step's pretty much a less developed Wolfram Alpha step-through.
Okay. Because that's what I liked from Wolfram Alpha, but that feature is expensive as shit.
Yeah, and by the way, this is called PhotoMath.
Yeah, I was about to say that. You guys haven't even said the name.
And it's available on
for
iOS and Windows Phone.
See, if we
no Android version.
Oh, really?
Nope.
That's great shit. But see, if we don't say the name of the programs we're talking about, we're generating revenue for Bing in the end. So, I try to
Thank you, Goyman.
I try to throw them a bone when I can. I see that Past Me has written a note to my future self in our show notes about mentioning something called Word Lens. And for you bilingual folk out there, that might be something worth looking into. It uses the same technology that PhotoMath does, but it just translates words on the fly.
Yes. Isn't that for... They also have that for Google Glass?
Yeah, I'm not sure, and I think Google might have bought a similar technology for that purpose.
Yeah.
The most interesting thing about that, though, is that it matches the font. That's the part I was most impressed with.
Yeah, I wonder if it recognizes the font first and then the words, or the words and the font.
Yeah, I'm always, with technology, I'm always impressed by the little things. Like, Reddit has this bot called Bit of News Bot that'll read an article and present to you the main ideas of it. Super helpful in the comments. Has way more comment karma than freaking I do. Here we go, Zanthas with his Reddit phobia. But I was most impressed by its ability to put the information in full sentences rather than to find the information itself. It's just a little polish on things that's...
Yeah.
Regarding the recognition, it probably recognizes the font first, then the words.
I would assume so. That saves a step in rendering.
Yeah, then also if it knows the font, then it knows the exact orientation and design of the actual letters, which would help find the actual words.
Is there a specific name for that type of application? It's not augment. It would be augmented reality, right? That it alters.
Yeah.
If it displays it in place, then yes, it would be augmented reality.
But I've been wanting to get into some augmented reality games, but I feel like a total nerd. And plus, there's nothing to find in the country. Like Ingress. Anyone play that shit? Or do geocaching or any of those like augmented reality kind of apps?
I have not. I've done geocaching, but not augmented reality style.
I've been meaning to get into that, but I feel like one of them's going to be a bomb and I'm just going to have blowed up. That's what you think about when you live next to a bunch of Vietnam nuts. Hang on, I'm reading me some text right now. Google bought a car company for like $540 million. John Bond, since you know about that, did Google buy the car company to do like pathfinding for their self-driving car? Does not seem to have a mic. By the way, you're named after a tasty-ass candy.
John Bonds. I never heard of a John Bon.
I was more thinking bonbons, but okay.
Ah, okay. That makes a lot more sense.
Imagine getting a pack of John Bons. Yeah, you're here.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh my god, are you British?
Yep.
Dude, that's sexy.
Google bought an augmented reality startup for $542 million.
Oh, did you say AR company? I thought I read it's car company.
AR.
So that was for Ingress or for future projects with Glass, is what I want to know.
I don't think they said. The startup was called Magic Leap. That's about it.
Those are some lucky assholes.
Yes, they are. I think that with all those startups that are not just startups, but like companies that get bought, like when Twitch was bought for however much money, like $1 billion, right?
$1 billion, yes.
Yeah.
Was it really $1 billion?
$1 billion.
Yes.
Twitch? Not sure.
Like, that's just some asshole, though, sitting in his room. He's like, I'm going to show the whole internet what I'm doing. And then, like, 10 years down the road, his idea is worth $1 billion. That one dude lucked out.
He did.
I
Nearly $1 billion.
Yeah, when you're talking $1 billion, that nearly is pretty significant. That nearly is like a year's worth of salary for most people. That's what's crazy. Like when you see all the money that Bill Gates has made from Microsoft, and it says, "Oh yeah, he has like $23.7 billion." That $7 billion accounts for like the entire net worth of Big Dog, or what's the name of a real rapper? Like
A real rapper?
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg, not Big Dog.
Eminem?
Big Dog.
Wow, Big Dog.
No, Big Dog is the name of the DARPA project that walks around the legs. And speaking of freaking polish, that is one polish-ass machine, because it can like recover from ice and stuff and gravel. Yet another thing made by polish. Unlike my goddamn shoes, they're yellow as hell.
Mine are blue.
From what?
Probably some type of chemical?
Oh, you mean your shoes are literally blue?
Yes, not sad.
Oh, okay. I was
Why
thinking,
would
like,
I say my shoes are sad?
I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking like you spilled blue dye on it or something.
Ah, okay. No.
Because my dumb ass, I think I might have mentioned this actually when we were talking about HP last week when HP split off. My dumb ass worked around ink, and I bought white shoes, and then just all of a sudden, I had yellow shoes.
So that's why you have yellow shoes.
You been hanging around my shoes or something?
Yes.
All right, so instead of talking
okay.
about our shoes, let's
Guys, let's move it along. So
like
I'm reading here in the show notes that somebody wrote down about irssi being rebooted, or I don't know how to say it. I say irssi.
Irssi.
Zanthas,
But it could be
I'm gonna piss you off really bad right now.
IRSSI if you prefer that. Yeah, go on. What were you saying?
I'm gonna piss you off so bad right now. The one reason that's in the notes, and I didn't write it, by the way. Hey, I did. What am I doing, past self? Ursi's been rebooted for like 2 years at this point.
Actually, hasn't it been since February? Let me check.
No, 2012, I think. But that came from Reddit. Somebody discovered that Ursi was rebooted. I didn't think I put it in the list, though, just for that reason, because it was like years and years ago.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I wasn't sure why somebody put that in there, but I know it did move to GitHub earlier this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like they had a release on December of 2010 when they released for Windows, and then the next release was September of 2013 when they started rebooting, it looks like.
Yeah. Should have moved to the Teknik Git, but good job on the move to GitHub. If you want a project to get traction, that's exactly how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, the client's been in decline for such a long time already. It's a good move on their part.
And the fact that it labels itself as the client of the future is literally their tagline is a little bit ironic in that sense.
Yeah, it is. It's hilarious.
I started in the day it moved to GitHub. It was in June 18. I saw it. It's pretty good news, actually.
Are you still using it right now?
Yes, I am using it right now.
It's a really good client.
That's so stupid. That's gonna piss off a lot of people.
It's like WeChat, but not shit.
Well, that's going to piss off a lot more people.
Yeah, it will. I'm picking fights tonight. But yeah, I use WeChat just because I'm too lazy to use irssi. If I had it to all do it over again, I'll probably be on irssi right now.
I use HexChat.
HexChat's okay. I have a couple gripes with it, mainly that it can't be embedded on a server. But there's some user interface quips with it as well.
Like what?
It's just how it's configured. I could never get it to work right with darkening the background colors.
Yeah.
Like the text field will always be brighter than the border, like the user interface. I just didn't want to deal with it. Went back to WeChat.
IRC client debates are dumb because they do different things. Some are meant to do, like WeChat, for example. Its purpose is to be easily scriptable with multiple languages.
And it is.
It is. IRSSI, or however you prefer to pronounce it, is supposed to be light, and it does that well. HexChat is supposed to be easy to use, and it is. So there shouldn't be any debate about IRC clients.
Well, the fact that WeChat bases itself on being written in multiple languages or being scriptable in multiple languages is stupid. because literally anything is scriptable in multiple languages with the use of shebangs in Unix, unless it integrates on some deeper level that I don't know about.
Actually, like, it supports them officially because you can add support for other languages via plugins.
It's very
which are
modular.
different from script. Yes, WeChat has plugins, and then you can add support for scripts in other languages. WeChat has that distinction between scripts and plugins.
Yeah, now I'm gonna piss everybody off. I have never enabled a plugin, script, or add-on in irssi or WeChat. No spelling. It's just all stock. So you Rice folk are just like covering your ears and yelling right now.
Not really. They're good by default. They are just better with customizations.
They're decent by default, but it's nothing like HexChat, where it's just like a perfectly crafted user experience by default, and they just hand it off to you. It's a little rough around the edges when you first install those babies.
I've always been fond
is
of.
by default. Sorry.
It's all about MIRC.
Oh shit.
Here's the thing, though, with any program in general, that if it's a graphical program, you have to configure in that program's preferences usually how it should look on your system. And if you're into racing, that could be a lot of work. If you have a lot of graphical programs, you got to change Firefox, you got to change your IRC client, you have to change all these things. But if you use terminal programs, you race one thing, and all of a sudden everything just conforms. There should be that level of abstraction when you're using graphical apps.
Well, as the expert in here,
and
the
no.
local expert in Rice, if graphical programs are actually easier to Rice depending on the situation, because most programs on Unix or Unix-like systems use GTK or Qt. If you have a GTK theme, it's far easier to have a consistent setup. Otherwise, like, there's applications like Firefox where you have to use CSS, but it's not that much work.
There are a couple things that don't conform to GTK, but yeah, on Linux, it's dead easy. Does Windows have anything kind of like GTK where you set one theme and be done? I haven't used it long enough.
Well, deeper in the OS, they have all their theming stuff, but whether program to program, it's just all over the board.
Yeah, Windows has visual styles. It's similar, but it's not the same. It's not as consistent, I guess.
It doesn't give
programs. It doesn't do as a good job as in consistency as GTK or Qt.
The only problem with GTK
Because
and
there's
Qt...
so much variety developers can use on that, there's no real way to create a consistent view for each and every one.
There's a discussion we had there, though, because on one hand, having a consistent whatnot to theme for, like develop for GTK, and all your programs will conform to this theme engine and these settings engines and whatnot. That's wonderful. You're going to have the same experience across the platform. But then, like, it fucks up too, because if you are using the incorrect version of GTK, then it breaks your app. And
there's another thing, like with GTK themes, GTK 3 at least, when they update shit, it breaks everything. A lot of themes break. It's weird. It's just stupid, actually. A lot of people are mad at the GTK devs because of that.
Yeah, so Tiso in our channel earlier was talking about a web browser called Sombrero, which I haven't had a chance to use, but it's apparently all the rage right now, and couldn't get it because of GTA shit. No, X-Ombro.
I actually mentioned packaging it for Crux yesterday, and it sparked some interest.
I can't believe that many people on our channel are using Crux.
It's only him.
Yeah, basically. But he's right. When he said, "Hey guys, I packaged some shit for Crux yesterday," everyone like flipped a collective shit. I don't know if they didn't know what he was talking about or what.
Everybody's a retard.
I second that. Every time I tried to talk about something smart this week, I just got freaking shot down like MH370. We should probably cut that, by the way. Yeah, I was trying
hilarious, but too soon.
Yeah. And I think 370 is the ocean one, but that's a moot point. Like earlier I was trying to talk about, and I alluded to this a little bit in like the podcast pre-show, I had a technical question that I Googled for, and nobody's ever researched it, and then I asked the channel, nobody has researched it, so I'm going to pick your brains on it a little bit.
All right.
Let's say you had a really shitty processor. Like, it's so bad that you would think, like, Kori designed it or something.
Okay.
But then, on top of this processor, you write, like, a bitchin' virtual machine. Like, it's literally the dicks. Could you get a better throughput on that virtual machine than the host machine could give you?
That doesn't even make any sense. What the fuck?
No.
What the fuck? It's just stupid.
No, like, hear me out.
The processor has to go through the main OS to get to the VM.
You're full of shit, though. So here's the thing. Let's say on this shitty computer, it takes like 4 cycles to add 3 numbers together. But then that same process on the virtual machine is 1 cycle. You're using... Oh, fuck, though. Because the virtual machine is using a lot of resources.
Yes.
Yeah.
But isn't there a level where the problem is magnified to the point where it's then easier? Like, what if you're simulating a ternary computer on a binary computer, and the algorithm you're using is specifically tuned for ternary? I don't know. There's probably a way to exploit this.
Well, let's think. Damn you.
Let's take this to the logical conclusion.
So, if we have, like, a very algorithmic process, and it's solely dependent on the operating system on how it is calculated, and not on the actual processor, then if one OS is better than the other, and it's greater than the amount of resources used by the host OS, then technically using the VM would be faster for that algorithm.
Yeah, we can start selling virtual processors. It'd be like downloading more RAM.
Now, people actually using this and it working I don't think it would ever happen.
Chances very, very slim.
That would probably be a good idea if you were dealing with shit like having multiple virtual machines on a good server, like optimization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My little dick recently, though, has been like, whoop, when it comes to binary. I've really been researching the hell out of, some ternary. I think I said binary. But yeah, I've been researching the hell out of ternary. It's really neat.
Yeah.
Future computers might... this is obviously a shitload of way off, like I always say things are when I'm talking about the future. But yeah, future computers could use some type of ternary. And Donald Knuth even predicted that. He said future computers would, at some point, we're going to get to the point where it's going to be viable to switch to a ternary solution.
That'd be cool.
I wouldn't doubt that.
I don't think we've hit that point yet, though, because we're still currently able to exploit Mohs law for the time being.
Yeah.
Or,
Moore's law.
Moore's law.
Not Mohs.
Mohs.
Mohs Tavern.
That's what I was thinking of.
Speaking about Moore's law,
Never mind. Asks what ternary is. It's just binary with 1, 0, and 1 plus, right?
It's -1,
-1,
0, 1.
Yeah.
1.
It's 1 plus plus. I was about to chat shite for a second.
It's C plus equality.
While we're talking about shitty devices, let's talk about and wrappers. Actually, I can tie this into so many things. There's this wrapper that I didn't bother to remember the name of because it's just some dude that's creating a new paradigm of wearable technology.
Yeah, Will.i.am.
Will.i.am, the singer or whatever, the artist from Black Eyed Peas.
When he dies, is his name going to become Will He Was?
I really hope it would be like Will I Was.
Will I Were. But yeah, he's making a full computer that you can wear as a watch.
It's called Pulse.
The Pulse, without an E. It's the most
without
douchebaggy
an
name
E.
ever.
It's so weird and big.
But now we can make fun of it because Will.i.am invented it. But who of you would actually buy that? Because I could see myself doing that, honestly.
Honestly, the design for it looks cool, but I don't think I would buy it.
I would buy the Pulse.
It's better than the iWatch.
Yes.
Or the Apple Watch or whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Especially because that needs to be tethered to a phone. That's the big thing about this. It's just a computer that you strap onto your arm.
It's standalone, yes. I like if I liked smartwatches, I'd probably buy it over the other watches, but I don't, so I won't.
That's very true.
And yeah, Kazum raises a good point that battery life is probably a bitch on it. But like,
Yeah.
it could do something like the Matrix, where it just plugs into your body heat or some shit and leeches off of you. I'd use it then.
Or you could tether it to a battery.
And then it'd be tethered.
Oh, it was
Exactly.
like that Ubuntu fake project when they were announcing the Ubuntu glasses. You remember that?
No.
I actually don't remember that.
Well, when Google Glass was still popular, I think it was slightly before April. So on April Fool's, Ubuntu announced that they were starting their own project, and they already had a working prototype, and it was glasses with Ubuntu. And then at the very along the side of the page, there was like a wire running down, and at the very bottom of the page, they had like a car battery. And the implication was you would carry around a car battery to power the glasses.
That's funny.
Actually,
I think
that
there's just way too much emphasis on mobile devices right now. Honestly, I'd rather see more money going into like my desktop computer, like better CPUs, better x86 hardware.
it's not even
Rather
It's
than
probably
ARM.
just a hype wave.
yeah.
Like people are really excited about this, but they haven't stopped to think whether they should improve this technology, whether it will be actually useful in the future.
Yeah, well, it's following the consumers, and the consumers are looking for mobile.
Yeah.
It's just
Speaking
all
of
hype right now.
mobile, Android Lollipop.
Wow. But yeah, Android Lollipop did indeed hit.
Yep.
I don't know any of the changes in it or anything, but it's there.
It brings material design. That's one of the biggest changes.
I still don't know what material design is. Is it just a new graphical like toolkit or something, or theme?
It's their design language.
Yeah, it's a
has
whole new.
some- yeah.
It's a UI language.
Dude,
like
what?
Yes.
like what is Firefox use again? XUL.
Zool,
It's like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
But I thought they just used straight XML for the layouts.
Oh no! Material design it's not a language itself. It's like just a set of specifications and shit, like how things should look.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's not really
So
a
like a
language.
standard?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
design standard.
Oh.
But
That's
it's
not
called
exciting.
a design language.
Yeah, I was about to say, why would they just alienate XML like that?
Yeah, nah.
XML
no, it's in-
sucks.
It's entirely new UI for Android.
New AI or UI standards. It's not like it's actually going to be followed.
Yeah,
th-
well, all their core apps are already changed.
Yeah, but Google has started to use material design not in Android only, but some of their websites are using it already. Like some parts of YouTube are already using material design.
Yeah.
I've gotten addicted to this Android game called Circle. Has anybody gotten into that?
I don't play games on my phone.
I usually don't either, but dude, it just sucked my ass in. It's like Flappy Bird, but you're a circle riding a graph. And you have to, you
A
have to
graph
keep the line
or
of the
a
graph.
giraffe?
No, graph. It's not that badass. But you have to keep like the line of the graph inside the circle and whatnot. Oh, I almost smashed my phone a couple times playing that shit. Flappy Bird's actually not the bad game. You guys can't prove me wrong.
It's okay. It's whatever.
Yeah.
I'm
well.
not a hater of it, but it was just a whatever game. I don't see why it was so popular though.
Me neither. It was a fancier helicopter.
You know what was funny though? Like after the developer removed it from the Play Store, so many people were selling their Android phones on Craigslist for like thousands of dollars because it has Flappy Bird on there.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And it was like they were like kind of saying that it was gonna be like a kind of like, you know how the old like NES games that are like in good condition were worth a lot.
Mhm. Yeah.
They were kind of pulling that, I guess, trying to market it like that. It was so stupid.
And now those games are hardly worth shit again because they know there's so many of them out there. If we're talking
But
about the same thing.
Yeah, but you know what's the best part? Some phones actually sold.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
some
did.
phones actually sold. Like I saw a phone on Craigslist going for $10,000. I think it got sold.
Wow. I just love little addictive games like that you don't need any, like, you can just pick it up and do an entire game in like 15 seconds. It's great if you're like on a subway or something and you don't want to talk to somebody. Just whip out the Flappy Bird and just start going at it. I assume that's the use case for all those apps.
You just flap it up on a subway.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Whip out my Flappy Bird. The only thing I do, like, on public transportation is, like, browse G. Or listen to podcasts.
And
I don't play games.
And, like, furiously jerk it. Or whatever Kori said before he got on the podcast, so it's funny as fuck.
Speaking of jerking it, so there was a massive Snapchat hacking lately.
Oh, yeah, there was. Explain to me
Well, it wasn't
something.
really Snapchat, it was third-party utilities using it.
Right, it was a third-party utility that would let you save screenshots from Snapchat. Which without notifying the other person.
Yeah.
Because in Snapchat, if you take a screenshot of something, it'll
let another
notify
person
the other
know?
person.
Yeah. And so this lets you do it without letting the other person know that, you know, you're saving their nudes.
Yeah, they obviously did a bang-up job because 200,000 nude pictures were saved and leaked. Explain to me how that is not like a CP haven. How does
I'm sure it is.
It is.
Yeah, I assume people that download that are going to get in a little bit more than trouble for that shit. Because I don't know that many people over 18 that use Snapchat.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
Like, a few of my friends use it, but like 2. But most of the people I know that they're like under 18.
Zanthas, add me on Snapchat, by the way.
I don't use that shit.
Add me on Snapchat. You know my username.
Is it really Uncle1023?
I use that username everywhere. Come on.
I'm gonna send you a bunch of nip pics when I get a chance.
God.
That's my signature thing. When I wake up, I just send a nip to everybody on my Snapchat list. It's not a bad way to wake up. That's how a bunch of babies wake up.
ProWolf said in chat, people actually using a smartphone expecting privacy. Oh, speaking about smartphones and privacy, the Nexus 6 and 5 launched.
9.
Yeah, the Nexus 6 and the Nexus 9 launched. The 9 is the tablet, of course, and the 6 is the phone.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I think the design of them is absolutely sexy.
I fucking love it.
I didn't even look. Like, I don't care. I have my Nexus 5, so fuck it. I don't care.
You don't care about technology?
I don't care about phones.
I'm the same way. And there's so many phone threads on G.
Yeah,
so sick of seeing them.
I didn't have a phone for like 2 or 3 years. Like, I don't give a shit. I just got one because my brother gave me
14
one.
years.
I think, Nexus 6 will come with Android 5, right?
Yeah, I believe it comes with Lollipop.
Yeah.
And Android 5 has encryption enabled by default, so that's worth noting.
I didn't know
Does
that.
it really? Like, encryption, like SD card encryption? Or what do you mean by that?
Actually, encryption, like SD card and net, like...
Internal?
SSL, yeah, SSL encryption turned on by default.
SSL encryption?
Yeah, it uses OpenSSL by default, HTTPS by default on all websites, and just all forms of encryption enabled.
Oh, so for like communication,
yeah,
it uses SSL. Oh, that's
I
cool.
thought you meant SD card encryption.
Yeah, that's what
that
I thought
also.
too.
I read an article that an FBI agent actually complained because the phones were getting too hard to break into.
Yeah, I saw that, and then they said it was like a pedophile's dream or something.
Oh yeah, I read about that.
Because they actually mentioned that when iPhone 6 was released, because Apple had been like, oh, we encrypt everything because they leaked everything before. But that's another story.
Do you think that possibly the difficulty of encrypting or de-encrypting hard drives could have been why ChromeOS threatened to get rid of the ext file systems from us?
That could have been why, but I'm just glad they reversed that shit because that was so stupid.
They're back, baby.
Yeah,
Smooth.
like I can't imagine using NTFS, or I mean that's the only thing I could imagine using on a Chromebook, not Riser FS or whatever.
You would not use FAT on a Chromebook.
Yeah.
The fact that FAT still exists, why? You can't have files more than 4 gigabytes on that shit. Get it out of here.
I have no idea.
You mean FAT32?
Yeah. What? There's more than one FAT?
Yes, it's FAT16.
FAT is pretty nice for hard drives because everything's compatible with it. But more often than not, I just format it with NTFS because a lot of shit supports that too.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want it on your laptop or something.
Nah.
No.
Plus, flash drives are getting so big now and cheap that really FAT32 is starting to get not good for flash drives even.
Yeah. That's why I just NTFS everything.
Do you
You're right.
really?
Well, not my computer for obvious reasons, because then it would have to, every read-write operation would have to go through that weird little layer.
Fuse?
Which, why would Google think that's a good idea?
Yeah,
Regarding their own performance.
Yeah, I don't know why they would run everything through Fuse. Fuse is such a big bottleneck. Like it's actually, it's disgusting that they would that they were even going to do that.
Fuse is like the system D of freaking read-write operations. At least that's how I see it, because a lot of shit
is that the buzzword
Fuse.
now? System daemon for bad things.
System daemon for bloated ass things.
That statement is the system D of general statements.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
God damn it.
So that's officially an adjective now. You ask like Honey Boo Boo how she's doing today. I feel really system D. Why
Well,
oh yeah.
Well, actually,
that's why.
Honey Boo Boo's canceled, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's fucking done. I'm so happy. Do a little jig right now.
I've never watched it, but I've seen it so bad, like commercials and shit.
What is that?
It's in America.
Oh God.
There's this. We do toddlers. We
do toddlers in America.
No, we have pageant shows for toddlers where you rate them on, well, basically how sexy they are. So it's not a whole lot removed from what I said. But Honey Boo Boo was a contestant in those. Then the show started following her and realized that her mother is like Jabba the Hutt incarnate. So they just started following her whole family around and do southern things together. But her boyfriend there might have been some fucking silly business between him and a kid or whatever. So now the show is canceled for good.
Yep.
No more Mama June.
Mama June's gone.
Sounds like a shitty show, anyways.
It is.
I don't know a
it's
single person that watched that show. I just know a lot of people that fucking hate it.
Zanthas is the system D of shows.
That show?
That just killed the podcast, Corey. Congratulations. I'm clapping right now.
Yeah.
I just learned it's really hard to clap with one hand holding a microphone and one hand holding down the push to talk. That's kind of slapped my cheeks together.
What's your push to talk by keybind?
Control. Left control.
Same.
Mine's control window key.
Wow, using
meta.
two buttons.
Fingers. Yep.
Getting a freaking finger workout over there.
So much work.
Only a few of you know, but Zanthas is actually an octopus.
Yeah.
That would make sense
I'm
on so many levels.
That GitHub. What was it? It's like a. Is it an octopusy? The GitHub thing?
Yeah.
What is that?
Octocat.
AutoCAD.
Octocat. Okay.
Octopussy? What is
know.
this, James Bond?
Yeah.
Open source porn.
Oh. I wonder if that's actually a thing.
I bet it is a
Open
thing.
source porn.
I was trying to think of a pun for that, but nothing worked. It just sounded like soup flavors for some reason. Open pores. Fucking get on to Campbell's.
Did you say camel?
What the fuck would I say camel for? We're not advertising secrets on the Teknik podcast. Oh yeah, by the way, our first sponsor, Marlboro.
Yeah, no.
Blaze it.
Speaking of clouds of smoke, did you hear about
How the fuck are you gonna do
Owncloud
this?
versus Ubuntu?
Oh, I did hear about that. That's fucking crazy because like Owncloud is like doesn't want their shit included in the Ubuntu repositories anymore.
Yeah.
Why would that even? Why would that be? Because Owncloud's such a good big thing on Ubuntu.
When I first saw the headline for that, I was actually kind of annoyed at Owncloud, but actually reading like the articles, it's because the Ubuntu or Ubuntu, however you want to say it, hosts like old versions of Owncloud, and that haven't been patched for security reasons, and the Owncloud developers are trying to get them removed off the repository so they can put newer, patched, secure versions of the software, and Canonical's just not having it.
Yeah.
Which is really stupid.
Yeah, you should not be against having software in your repos wanting to patch their own software.
It's the thing is the maintainer who maintains open fuck.
Owncloud.
I was gonna say Owncloud, yeah. Owncloud server is not an Owncloud developer. Like he doesn't work
That's
for
weird.
Owncloud. He just builds it and he does it himself. And so I don't know. It's just like a whole big giant mess.
Here's also a direction I think they could be taking. Because if something gets into the Ubuntu servers, or the Ubuntu repositories, you can't track how many downloads it gets, or track the user agents, the downloads, what version of the operating system they're on. So maybe they could be messing around with the repositories so they can get more statistics on their users, so they can like better optimize their product.
That's true, but I think the primary reason is the security.
I
Maybe that too.
A lot of companies try and keep their release process in-house just because they have control over what they release and what people have access to. If they push it out to the repositories, then who knows what is cached or what is kept in the repository from old builds.
That model doesn't work horribly well for open source though, if you're an open source project on a free operating system.
True.
Yeah, it's pretty alright. Just stuff like this comes about, there should be a way to deal with it without having to go through all this red tape.
Yeah.
It's alright, but I'm not Kori, so I don't go to websites to download packages. If something's not in the repository, I don't bother with it. which is why I don't get Crux, because like you're literally getting no package management advantage over Windows. You still have to go to the website, but instead of running an installer, you have to compile shit.
Not really. Like Crux has a ports database online
like
on their
BSD.
Yeah, and it comes with ports by default. So my only problem with Crux is when things aren't packaged and there are no ports online on Crux's website or anywhere really, then I have to package it myself.
That's too hardcore. I'll stick to like freaking Ubuntu and Sabian and distros like that.
Well, not really. It's not that hard.
I think it just takes a lot of time more than anything.
Yeah, it takes some time, but I usually get the sources from Git, so I pretty much never have to update the ports ever. Like, only update the dependencies.
And with user-friendly freaking Linux operating systems, how do you mofos think Unity has worked out as an experiment in terms of like user-friendliness? Do you think like a retard could pick up, or not like a little retard, but like a technologically not good person could pick up Unity and start using it?
I think they can use it to some degree. It wouldn't be too hard. It'd be different.
Yeah.
It's kind of like OS X or OS X in a way. It has the global menu bar and all that. I think a person who uses a Mac could pick it up more easier. But
that
like
confuses the fuck out of people though, the global menu bar.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. It's gotten better. Unity used to be so shitty, like in terms of how it would run, but it's faster now. It's more responsive. I was actually testing Ubuntu 14.10.
Can't talk about it against the rules.
Fuck Canonical.
God, I hate that. I hate that logo.
Is that seriously their logo? Because I think it might have just been like the Linux Action Show fucking up. But then I Google Ubuntu 14.10 logo and it's still ponies. So I don't know what to think of it.
Wait, what logo?
You haven't seen it?
No?
It's
Jesus.
bad.
Let me find it.
It's so bad.
Yes, please link it.
The logo we're talking about, it might be fan-made, it might be...
Oh, is it the one with the... Is it like a black guy and he's like half naked?
No.
Maybe that was just
No.
on G. Maybe that was just on G. Never mind.
Have you been looking up, dude? No, it breaks rule 6 in our channel.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah. Well, it's called
Wow.
Tropic Unicorn, so I don't see how it couldn't. But the logo is a blatant ripoff.
Wow.
I think Uncle's finding it. But yeah, when I start talking about how user-friendly Linux is, it's only fair to make comparisons to Ubuntu and what they're doing, because that's what a new user is going to be doing.
Yeah, that's true.
Alright, I just linked it.
Thank you for not linking the direct image.
It's a Bing search.
Yeah, he linked a Bing search.
Real quick, speaking of Unity, you started discussion
Kori,
with
you
Unity,
fucker.
but
Wow, that's like a My Little Pony logo. What the fuck?
Yes.
Is that for real?
Get it? It's for real.
That looks like it might be Rainbow Dash. Not
What
that I
the
know about
fuck?
ponies.
All right, we're kicking Zanthas out of the channel. That's it.
Yep.
He's done.
Actually, I don't think Rainbow Dash has a horn. I would have to ask Joel. He knows about that.
No, the horned ones. We're not going to actually talk about this. The horned ones would be Rarity or Twilight Spark
Oh my
unless
God.
they're using like a background.
Jesus.
I was actually like joking.
What has this devolved into? So who saw?
Teknikast, ponies.
So who saw Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks? No, just kidding.
Oh god.
That's how you
Okay,
feel
back
podcast.
on topic.
Yeah, but back to Ubuntu and Unity. Manjaro saw the same thing that we saw, and decided to make their own Unity version now. Manjaro being a very user-friendly version of Arch Linux.
I think that's kind of cool. I mean, I wouldn't use it, but I mean, I think diversity is great. So if more people are using Unity and are, the more use cases it has, the better it'll be. So I think it's cool.
I'm less excited for Unity than I am for Manjaro being accessible to people that would like Unity. Because Manjaro is actually a damn fine operating system. It's probably my favorite Linux operating system at the moment. So I'm glad to see they're trying to draw in the new users, because that's what drives our platform.
Also, it's worth noting that when Manjaro, or however you pronounce it, ports
Manjaro?
Unity, yes, whatever. When it ports Unity, it will have a package build, and then it can be ported to Arch Linux and Crux and Gentoo and whatever other distros easier.
Yeah.
It's already on Gentoo. There's actually a build for it on Gentoo, and I think
Yeah,
there's
actually-
a workaround for Arch.
It is on Gentoo because I've seen. I don't know if you guys know Nero. They post on G, but they always use it. So there is a build for Gentoo.
Oh, I might make a Crux port for it. I'm not sure.
Well,
For Unity?
Yes.
Okay. That's
I
cool.
think that Unity got a head start out of the gate on the next generation desktop environments. GNOME 3 was a fucking mess when they released it at first. It was so messy, but now it's okay. And the other one, KDE, obviously, after 4, it had terrible growing pains. So it has that head start, but now the other desktops are catching up. KDE released 5.1 this week, and it's
They're-
wanging.
Well, there are some desktops that are great, like when they launch, there's a great user experience, like Elementary's Pantheon, for example. It's pretty good.
They polished the hell out of that before they release it, though.
Yeah.
And in the end, that's riding on the shoulders of GNOME 3,
Which is shit.
Oh,
which is okay.
Actually, it's okay. I'm joking. It's okay.
It's okay
in my
now.
experience, I think the window manager for Pantheon is better than GNOME.
Gala, right?
Yeah.
That's-
Yes. I forgot the name.
yeah.
Wait, what are you talking about? Oh, yeah,
Gala, the window manager for Pantheon, the Pantheon desktop,
which is just a renamed Mutter.
Not really. It has some.
which is just a
Different
rename
view.
Metacity.
Please. Gala actually has some really nice features, like the workspace manager thing.
Here's how I see it. The desktops, GNOME 2, XFC 4.8 or so, and all those people, like KDE 3, were like, when you think of the 90s, those are like the iconic fucking kinds of things you would see. And then they tried to be modern in the beginning when they started releasing things like Unity and GNOME 3, but it came across kind of like Windows Vista. And now we're getting to the Windows 7 era, where they're polishing the mess that was the last generation of desktop environments, and it's actually being really nice.
Yeah.
I would see myself switching from Window Manager to a full desktop environment.
And then comes the Windows 8 era, and then everyone stops using desktop environments.
Everyone stop using computers, we all just go outside
Yeah.
instantly.
But
like,
Windows 10 will save the day.
it might.
Right.
It's looking good. It's looking good.
They did release a new update this past week that included a couple new features, including the new notification hub.
Called Action Center, right?
Yeah.
And also had a couple of user interface improvements.
Some more polish to like the animations and actual design of the OS.
Yeah, it's fluid as fuck.
TSO said Windows had an Action Center already, though. I don't believe it did.
It might have been renamed, but now they're trying to make it like a central part of how you use your Windows desktop.
Yeah,
it actually was named Action Center, but I don't think it's the same.
Okay, apparently it's named Action Center Windows 7.
Okay, hello?
Hey, what's up?
Zanthas.
Hey, okay. That was weird.
Zanthas is back. Uncle, you're our Windows guy, so who dropped the ball here?
On Action Center?
Fucking yeah, dude. Apparently Windows 7 had it.
On Windows 8. Who dropped the ball on Windows 8?
I blame Jamal.
Is that like our president's real name?
What?
What the fuck?
What are you having a giggle about? People don't think he's born in this country. That's what I'm referencing. I'm not being racist or anything.
I know, but god damn. I'm just so random.
I remember when the re-election was coming around, there was a political ad where they were interviewing George Obama. It was just like this Kenyan dude in a rundown village.
Yeah, I was looking at the Jib Jab videos, and I just realized that Jib Jab doesn't make those political movies anymore.
I'm not entirely sure what Jib Jab is.
Yeah, all they do is now e-cards.
What is that? What is Jib Jab, not e-cards?
Oh, Jib Jab used to make cartoon videos that were very satire and made fun of whatever current event was happening.
Oh, okay. That sounds kind of funny. Or like it could be funny.
Yeah, so they made like the Bush versus Kerry election, then Obama versus Bush, and then Obama versus yeah. Oh no, it was McCain.
McCain.
Technology.
Yes.
Magic underwear. Yeah, this is
technology.
the first episode of the... We need a separate version of Teknik for, like, poll.
Yes. Pollcast.
Getting back to technology. I learned this week that Microsoft just loves to ride that freaking smooth Linux dick into the sunset. Because they are pandering to the Linux crowd so hard lately.
Yeah, I've seen, like, who was the CEO again? He has, like, some weird fucking name. What's his name? Yeah, whatever, that Indian dude. Yeah, he said he was talking about how Microsoft loves Linux.
Oh,
like
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll let you guys continue before I offend any more Indians.
So
I'm
yeah,
sure we offend at least every race by now.
They announced their new Azure system, and they include better support for actual Linux.
Yeah, you can now install Linux operating systems on your Windows cloud, which is saying something, honestly, about how Windows feels about the quality of their own products, or how Microsoft does, rather.
Well, Microsoft is going more towards where Windows isn't their sole... Well, Windows has never been their sole resource and project.
It's not even their most lucrative.
No.
Microsoft Office is? Or Xbox? No. You know, it actually is Samsung. But yeah, in-house is, I think, probably Microsoft Office making the most money.
Yeah, so like all their software that's not OS related, they've been pandering it to be across all platforms.
Mm-hmm. They've actually, since Nutella, or whatever his name is, got into the position he's in, Microsoft's actually made a huge move towards open source by starting off by making the C# compiler platform open source.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Something really funny is happening in my room that I can't talk about.
Well, now you say it, you have to talk about it.
No, I can't, because it would offend a lot of people.
Okay, that's fine.
this might be really small also, but Microsoft didn't have a GitHub account before Satya.
Yeah, actually,
Really?
The podcast we'll be releasing next week is where we talk about that. Because that happened right when that, and back in September when we recorded that Microsoft made their GitHub and said, oh yeah, we're moving a little bit towards open source. Kind of like hinted at that.
Yeah.
To this date, though, they don't have any serious projects up there.
TypeScript?
Nah.
Is the whole TypeScript hosted now? Good talk.
Not sure.
It is.
I don't think that was up there back in September when we recorded that. I haven't looked at it since then. All I know is it hasn't been made any waves in the programming communities that I follow, because I haven't been linked to their GitHub once. They keep about as much presence on their GitHub as they keep on their Twitter, it seems like. They just kind of chuck one or two things out every now and then for the fans.
Just to make sure it keeps the date up to date.
At least Microsoft tries to maintain that kind of a presence in social media, where Linux, you don't even know how to get on the mailing lists if you're not like a super technical, god, like a Bill Gates kind of god.
Bill Gates isn't that technical, though.
Technical. Yeah, well, kind of. He helped write BASIC, so he's a programmer.
Yeah.
And an article surfaced in these past 2 weeks that he will just shit on you if you're incorrect. He was basically like the Linus Torvalds of Microsoft. Which I guess kind of goes without saying, because it's like the figureheads of their respective projects. But he is, if you think Linus Torvalds is bad when he cusses you out when you submit a shitty fucking like kernel update, Bill Gates will just chew you out to no end. We have a email that he wrote to somebody linked in the bottom. And I swear to God, that dude probably felt that for days.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Link in chat? Okay, I will do.
Yeah, TypeScript. The entirety of TypeScript is in Microsoft's GitHub organization.
You guys have heard of OneGet, right?
Yes. I just heard about that this past week, I think.
I didn't hear about it.
That's on GitHub. That's from Microsoft. At least I think it's from Microsoft.
I wonder how
Was
bad...
it? I thought it was third party.
I saw
How bad that
some
fucks
fags on
with-
G shilling that it was from Microsoft, so you know it's good. So I'm just assuming.
Do you think that messes
Oh,
with
I
the
think I
Microsoft
know.
development cycle, though? Because Microsoft they probably don't use Git in-house, do they?
They
No.
use SVN.
Yeah, so that probably screws with their workflow. You need to get people to know Git just for saying, oh, guys, open source. Or no, wait. They can
It's
use SVN
not
on
that
GitHub,
hard
can't they?
to learn Git.
No, I know probably 3 Git commands. Add, push, commit, and when shit doesn't work, you break out -F. I'm literally the worst kind of developer. Yeah, I actually did wipe a year history on a project once with -F, and there's no way to get that back.
Wow. Good job with that.
Yeah, shit sucks sometimes. That's why I just don't code shit anymore. I'm gonna start hiring Indians to do it.
But yeah, and then so you know how Google has where their employees can work in their own workshop and stuff and release their own products or whatnot. Microsoft just opened up their same style of environment for their employees called Microsoft Garage.
Oh, that's
That
what
sounds
Microsoft
so
Garage
ghetto.
is. I thought it was like a GarageBand ripoff or something.
No.
Yeah, I honestly did not see too much about that, but I'm glad they're doing that. Moving into the 21st century when it comes to treating your employees, which is such a unique culture in IT that employees are treated that way. There's no other field where you're going to be like chilling in a ball pit or playing ping pong when you're quote unquote working.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting work environment for a lot of these companies.
Probably, depending on what department you're in, just kick back, play Xbox all day.
Yeah.
The Xbox people probably hit the jackpot. Dude, their lunch break is off the hook. Imagine the ping when you're playing at the Xbox Live headquarters. Just rolling news.
God. Speaking of Xbox, have you guys seen Sunset Overdrive?
Heck yeah, dude. I'm not a fan of how the game looks personally, but people are into that.
Yeah.
You gonna get it?
I don't even know what that is.
I don't have an Xbox One, and I don't have a TV.
Yeah, it's
So
an
I,
Xbox
I
One
would have to
exclusive.
get both.
Well,
Xbox One TM, Uncle D?
What?
Xbox One TM?
I said I don't have a
Yes.
TV.
No, TM.
Gazem, yes,
Oh,
it does. But
yeah.
people are getting it early now. Shit, people have already gotten Advanced Warfare, so it's no surprise that people are getting Sunset Overdrive.
What is
Yeah.
this, anyways? Like,
I'll explain it to you the best way I can. Have you ever played SSX Tricky?
No.
Have you ever played Jet Set Grind Radio Future?
No.
Kill yourself. And then
Have you ever played Borderlands?
No, I actually haven't.
Do you know about Borderlands?
Yes, I do.
It's like that.
It's kind of like that.
But
Okay.
it's like that mixed with Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Because the main attraction to it is you have to be grinding at all times in order to do like full damage and shit in order to get around like efficiently. But there's also a lot of shooting involved, and it kind of has like a shell shady look like Borderlands had.
Yeah, the move mechanics are a lot more free-flowing and not as physics-intensive. Well, they're still physics, but they aren't real-world physics.
Yeah, it's very, I don't want to say tongue-in-cheek, but it doesn't take itself very seriously at all. It's a lot like the Borderlands series, but even less serious. Like, your currency in that game is energy drinks, for God's sakes.
Yeah, and the characters break the fourth wall all the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, Borderlands, they did Borderlands, too.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, though. A game that doesn't take itself as seriously as, like, freaking Call of Duty would or something.
Yeah, it makes it fun.
Which is what video games are supposed to be. A lot seem to have forgotten that. They're thinking, oh, they can iron in Minecraft for days. There are people that get paid to do that shit in, like, the land of, Kori. I had to look through the list to find the South American person I had.
Wait, what?
Nothing.
I wasn't paying attention.
I'm just referencing that South America has freaking crazy mineral deposits. Joe Lixney is the person that kind of turned me onto that. Well, not turned me on, but like alerted me of it.
Yeah.
Like fucking Bolivia has crazy amounts of lithium and shit. I'm surprised Tesla hasn't like bought Bolivia yet.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Have you heard the statistics of what their battery plant can do?
No.
Oh, dude, it could churn out so many like they need a place to make batteries because they do electric cars, obviously. So they just decided to make their own battery plant, and it's like the largest battery plant in the world. It turns out a shitload of batteries.
Wow.
And now that's a profitable business in and of itself. Just the battery manufacturing part of it. That's gonna be a crazy company. It's gonna be like Ford was back in the 20s when we look back on this era, I think, because they're just sparking an entire industry.
Yeah, they are. Because, who was it? I saw a couple other car companies are starting to release their own electric cars.
Yeah.
Pure electric cars.
Because Tesla's making the battery cheap.
Yeah, and that was the big problem before, is batteries cost so much.
Well, as much as I hate to shill and just suck corporate wang, I feel like Tesla, in a way, is just pushing, as cheesy as it is to say, pushing our fucking species forward, especially with what they're doing in space. And their persistent research in autonomous driving. They're going further with that now than Google is. Because unlike Google, Tesla has the balls to see something they want to do and actually do it, instead of talking about it and then releasing a closed beta and deciding it's not worth it. Fucking Google Plus.
What are they doing in space?
Space Cowboys. It's like fucking Firefly. No, but Tesla, or not Tesla, I'm talking about Elon Musk's companies, I guess. I mixed the two up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so like, yeah.
No, there's no electric rocket ships yet. Put your panties back in order. That'd be fucking. You couldn't do that though, probably physically. Electric spaceships.
Well, maybe because solar power.
Yeah.
Recharge batteries.
How would you generate propulsion?
Actually, if we
like
ever,
a Dyson fan.
you could do that too. It'll be a mute point in the future though, or a moot point rather, not mute. I'm sure you can hear it, because a Japanese company has vowed to have a space elevator by the year 2050.
Which Japanese company? Also, if you use like a fan, that isn't it a vacuum? It's like it's in a vacuum, so why would it? Like you wouldn't push.
True. Yeah,
MIT
because the Dyson fan
or
uses
MIT.
vacuums.
Some all power related shit at some point will just go out the window. We won't even care about it if what that company that made the fusion reactor this fucking like last week, if that becomes a thing. If fusion becomes a thing,
yes.
it's all over. Our stuffed animals will have fusion reactors to power it. Because the news story is that they've discovered a new, safer, and easier way to produce fusion energy, which has never turned a net energy profit in the past. And their demo is about the size of like a coffee table.
Yeah, and it can be scaled up and still keep its efficiency.
Lockheed Martin, I'm hearing, is the company that's doing this.
Yes.
Yes, this is actually pretty cool. I didn't know about this. This is actually really exciting. If it proves fruitful, it could change everything.
I'm not even impressed with it being able to be upscaled. I'm impressed by how small you can actually get a fusion reactor, because there are uses for that as well.
Yes. The reason it's good for being upscaled is that it can be the same size as a regular power plant, but greatly outproduce it.
I guarantee that one fusion reactor with a cup of water could outperform 10 years of fission in a normal power plant. Fusion is crazy with the energy it produces.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about like one of those prototypes that they produce being able to run our biggest aircraft carriers and shit. It would change humanity if we got fusion to work in a sane way that we could harvest easily. But it's so fucking crazy with the temperatures that shit gets to in fusion reactors that we can't even have it touching matter.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
You have to make an electric...
how like a magnetic field, right?
Magnetic field.
Magnetic field.
Yeah, to suspend it.
That's some Spider-Man shit.
That's the main reason why it had to be so large.
Yeah, so Dr. Octagon...
Dr. Octagump?
No, I was thinking the Fire My Laser version, Dr. Octagonopus. But that's what Dr. Octopus was working on in Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
The better Spider-Man's films.
And game. That was a really good game.
The games were fun. You liked the old ones versus the new ones?
I didn't play any of the new ones.
Yeah.
Not the games, the movies.
Yeah, the new ones fucking suck balls.
All the superheroes movies kind of hit a plateau where they just hit the best they'll ever be. Like The Dark Knight. I was very partial to The Dark Knight. Great movie. And then The Dark Knight 2 just threw it out the window.
I like Dark Knight too.
How about The Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
God, don't say Dark Knight 2. That's fucking weird.
Dark Knight the Second. Well, speaking of nuclear shit, the nuclear scene in that movie was totally inaccurate. Did we talk about this last week? I feel like I'm repeating myself on this.
So you're judging a superhero movie on technical inaccuracies.
Well, technical inaccuracies. The guy flies out there like 5 miles. And he's like, "Yeah, this is good," and detonates a nuclear bomb. And they just see like this little in the distance. That would flatten that whole country or that whole little, like region they were in. It's not as bad as the nuclear scene in Godzilla though. That was unforgivable.
Which Godzilla?
The newest Godzilla. Oh, we'll just put it on a tugboat and send it out in the San Francisco Bay. That shouldn't blow anything up.
No, it'll be fine.
What a shitty movie that was. I don't even care that there weren't any dinosaurs in it. It's just that everything was so gray in that movie. Special effects were there and everything, but then they just it looks like they went into After Effects or something and just slid the brightness all the way down.
What were you
I
watching it on?
Movies theater.
Oh. So it looked fine to me.
I just can't stand things without a lot of color, which is why I like the looks of Sunset Overdrive, because it looks like a rainbow threw up onto your television screen. There's so much color in it. I actually have only one more gaming topic, though. Not a lot happened in gaming this week, which is, it goes against what's happened the last couple weeks. We've had, Destiny and shit. We've had Borderlands, the pre-sequel, and 2 on Linux. Oh, before we do that, anybody in this channel, text chat, go. Has anybody played Borderlands, the pre-sequel, on Linux? Because I need to know how that's working out. Borderlands 2 runs like a goddamn... I was going to say something racist, but I'm going to refrain. It runs very well, I'll say. I'd like to know if the new one's like that.
That's funny.
Alright, looks like a solid no from the text chat. Helpful as always.
Yeah, I still need to play it. I have it installed, but...
It looks like,
but it's like, he's talking about Linux, so even if you did...
Yeah.
it looks like Borderlands 2.5, though, because it's made for the 360.
Yeah.
Console-wise, that's what it was geared to. I mean, it's not exclusively made for the 360.
Yeah.
It's made for the past gen. In a lot of ways, the big games that are coming out right now are just rehashes of old 2012 games. Borderlands, the pre-sequel, looks like Borderlands 2.5, and the new Call of Duty is just Black Ops 2.5. Not a whole lot of innovation happening.
Well, we have Destiny, we have Sunset Overdrive, we have... Alright,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Proving some points there.
From what I've seen, Destiny is not that great.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, we do have...
if you like that type of gameplay, it is an amazing game. If you aren't into that, you won't like it.
Well, duh.
And speaking of monopolizing on old ideas, not Halo the pre-sequel, what's it called?
Master Chief Collection?
Yeah, Halo the Master Chief Collection is coming out pretty soon.
Yes.
And it's all the Halos combined. It's Halo 1, or all the Halos with Master Chief in it, combined into one game.
Yeah, and they also remastered a lot of the maps. Did they remaster Halo 1 as well?
Yep.
I know they remastered Halo 2.
They remastered Halo 1, they redid the textures and everything.
Yeah.
But there was already a remaster for Halo 1. It was the Anniversary Edition.
I assume they would have used that, right?
Probably. Yes,
Because
all
they already
games are
did redo the
1080p,
textures for that
60
shit.
frames per second.
It's not even that I'm looking forward to.
It just sounds like a cash grab.
Well,
It
yeah.
is. It does make it more accessible though, because you won't need the Xbox One to play the original the original Xbox, not the Xbox One. You won't need the first iteration of Xbox to play the early Halos. It's all on one disc now.
Yeah.
Accessible as shit. I'm not even excited about it being remastered. That's kind of like a footnote for me. But what's interesting is the playlists span across the games. So if you go and like Capture the Flag, you could play Capture the Flag on Sidewinder and Halo 1.
Oh, that's cool.
Or it could be like playing on Overlord in Halo 4 or something.
There we go.
But how's that going to work out? Because nobody's going to be voting based on map. They're going to be voting based on what the gameplay of that video game is like. Controls differed wildly between the Halos.
Yeah.
And also, how are they managing load times with that? Because not only do you have to load a map, but you have to basically reload a whole set of controls, basically load a whole engine before you can play on a map.
Well, I'm sure they updated the engine for all of them to be very similar, so they could use just one sole engine, and then have a lot of parameters they just pass to it.
Yeah, that sounds like what they would do.
Yeah, that would have been hard as hell to do, though, because there are huge differences between the Halos. Some had...
That's why it's not out yet.
Some had dual wielding, some had, like, equipment.
I have never played Halo.
Wow, dude.
Wow.
Get out.
Get out, you loser.
So this is the last... say goodbye to Kori. This is the last tech podcast they're recording.
Yeah.
For as far as first-person shooters go, Halo has an amazing storyline.
Yeah, it's
the
pretty
storyline
nice.
for it is good.
It's just rich in lore. It has books for it. It has a TV show coming out this November. I think November 11th, never forget, is when Halo Nightfall launches.
The thing is... sorry.
No, it's good.
Like, the only consoles I've owned were the PlayStation, the Super Nintendo, and the PlayStation 2 and Nintendo Wii. So there's that. Like the big consoles. I've owned a Game Boy and a Nintendo DS as well.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but you played the shittiest consoles.
Actually, it's not really. The PlayStation 2 here was really huge
The
because
PS2 is pretty good,
yeah, it's great.
but the Wii U
It has-
fucking
it
sucks
had
balls.
Yeah,
Or
it
the Wii.
had some of my favorite games. Wii was man, I don't even know why I bought a Wii, but
For Super Smash Brothers.
I actually
Precisely.
don't know that I owned like Super Mario. That's pretty much what I played. New Super Mario Bros. Wii.
What the fuck?
No, that was a good game. I
It
don't.
was a shitty game.
That's good.
I like Mario Galaxy, and that was on the Wii.
I actually didn't play it a lot. Like my little cousin played a shit ton of Wii, but I actually used to play the PS2 more.
I thought it was the weakest of last gen, honestly.
PS2 of last gen?
Fucking what?
What?
No, the Wii was probably the weakest of all the options.
yeah, of course. Shit. Actually, but I think honestly, I think the new console, the new generation of consoles are so bad. Like,
They're a step
I don't-
behind. They're a step back.
yeah, they're set behind everything. It's disgusting. I pity anybody who actually owns a console right
I
now.
do.
Do
And let me
you
tell you,
really?
yeah, and the party system is just 3 steps behind, dude. I can't figure out how to talk in a party when Xbox 360 perfected that 10 years ago. It's BS. The consoles, for certain games, it's the only way to play it. It's not a matter of, oh yeah, my experience is so much better on this console than your PC. It's, oh, I know some people that play on console, I'll go play with them. It's totally a social thing.
Yeah, I guess so. I know,
Anyways,
I
I
just-
wasn't paying attention. Have you guys talked about the Avengers trailer?
No, but go ahead and spoil us.
No.
Enrich us with information.
I don't really. I thought you guys were going to talk about it. I
Oh,
watched
okay.
it.
I'll talk about it.
It's
I'll
pretty
talk-
good.
It was all right. I thought it was interesting. It seemed kind of darker than the original Avengers, like kind of like a sad-ish, had a sad-ish tone.
Well, it's
But-
because it's starting the Civil War series of events.
They're
Yeah.
gonna do the Civil War.
Yep.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Wow.
For
Okay.
those who don't know, the Civil so this will be a spoiler the next minute. The Civil War is basically where Captain America and Iron Man split up and are on 2 different sides of the actual war, and they fight each other, as well as other members of the Avengers and Shield and all that stuff. Basically because
And Stonewall Jackson.
yes, exactly.
Because they are because there's an act, a law that requires people to show their identity,
Yes.
And-
yes.
and Captain America's for that. Or no, he's
The
not
Mutant
for
Registration Act.
that. Yeah, the Mutant Registration Act. And
But it won't be called that because mutant is trademarked, but yeah.
yeah, but yeah, basically it just kind of some people want to show their identity to the world and think superheroes should be open of who they are for the protection of like the people, and the other side wants to remain hidden. And it's a huge comic storyline in the Marvel universe. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So I didn't even know that they were going to adapt that to the movies.
Yep.
Honestly, it sounds like a 6-year-old read a Batman book and then fell asleep and dreamt about that story arc in his sleep.
It's basically a big elaborate like excuse to get people fighting each other, but it's actually really well done.
What you described with like the whole wanting to remain anonymous or maybe not wanting to be anonymous or whatever, it's like the original superhero arc. Find out who is under the mask. It's every episode of Scooby-Doo ever. R.I.P. Casey Kasem. Chasm. I don't know how you say Layer's name.
Speaking about the trailer itself, I thought the usage of the Pinocchio song was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. It was kind of stupid when like at the end of the trailer, when I think the big giant half metal robot is all like, "There's no strings on me." Like that was fucking dumb. But besides that, it was
funny.
alright.
That's nice.
I don't know. I just found that retarded.
I didn't watch the trailer, so that's whatever you guys were talking about. for you.
Spoilers.
Also,
I haven't
the Hulk
watched it either.
dies.
I've never seen an episode of The Avengers.
Me neither.
Like the Avengers, like the like that TV show. What's it called?
Oh, I meant a movie of the Avengers.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant that one, the Agents of Shield. I thought that's
Agents
what I
of
thought you
Shield.
meant. Yeah,
I
heard
watched that.
Great shite.
It's been getting better.
How's Gotham been? Have you seen that?
Yeah, it tries too hard.
I just barely heard about that about 2 days ago. What's it even about? Like,
It's about so it starts at where Bruce's parents get killed, but instead of jumping to Batman and all that, it starts there and follows Officer Gordon and his rise to fame.
So obviously, I'm a neckbeard. I don't watch TV, so I'm basically like a coat hanger for this conversation. The only like 3 shows I watch is probably like The Soup on E, freaking Gold Rush on the Discovery Channel, Bob's Burgers, and Archer.
Archer's cool. I can respect that.
I can't respect the decision they made recently, though, with fucking changing the name of the organization they used to work for.
Yeah,
silently.
ISIS.
Yeah,
that
the
is...
International Spying Incorporation of Service. That's not what it's called, by the way, but it's something with spying and international in it.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the Islamic State of whatever. And they decided to just take the sissy's way out and...
Yeah, they should have just stuck to their guns.
Do you know how funny of a running joke that could have made that into?
Yeah. Did you guys know that the Elementary OS developers changed their name from their next release from ISIS to Freya, right? Because of that.
Really?
Yeah. They said something like they didn't want to be associated with a terror. Like, they didn't want people to think it was a terrorist operating system or some shit.
It's the next
that
version
one
of Red
company,
Star.
that one, who was it that changed their name from ISIS to something else?
There's so many things named ISIS, but that was a sun god, right?
Iris.
I mean, that was Osiris.
Osiris, yeah.
Iris.
Whatever.
The god of flowers. Yeah, it was named Daffodil. It's a badass name, actually. If I were a villain, I'd name myself Isis.
I'd name
Sounds godly.
Jim.
You would name your gym.
Name myself Jim.
Hi guys, I'm gonna
Billy.
go work out at ISIS. Work them guns. We actually have another television piece that I don't give a fuck about, but a lot of people give a fuck about. Twin Peaks coming back.
Oh yes,
never watched it.
That used to be pretty big back in the day. I've never seen it either, but it is coming back, and like they're gonna use the same cast, right, or some shit.
Same cast.
That is so weird.
So I guess it has to take place in the future. The future of our now. Wait, what?
Yeah, I don't know.
You see what I'm trying to say? It doesn't take place in the same time.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like a time skip that's an actual time skip.
Right, it'll take place in present day, just like the past one took place in their present day back in like the 70s or the 80s when it was out.
It was in the 90s.
I don't even care. It's all the same shit. I wasn't alive at those times.
Wow.
The Dark Ages. But
yeah,
people that were said it was reportedly the dicks. So it coming back is definitely it should appease to the cult following it has. Tiso, you're like 20 years old. Take a chill pill. Tiso says Dymatic wasn't alive in the 90s. I feel so damn old. Well, I was born in 96, the best of the 90s, so you can suck this 18-year-old wang.
Please.
Tiso, what country do you live in that, like... I'm not going to start getting into CP
here. Let's not get into cheese pizza.
Technology.
Yeah, but about other stuff about TVs and stuff. HBO Go is going to be watchable without a subscription starting next year, which is good.
You
guys want to see Game of Thrones without having to, actually have HBO?
Now, if we were using VR riffs right now, you would see the middle finger I'm holding up to DirecTV that will be able to get rid of them when HBO Go allows subscription-less users on their system. Really, I see a lot of people moving away from their television provider if HBO Go does this.
I also noticed a couple other TV networks offering subscriptions for their services online. Was it CBS? I don't know.
Here's the thing. I think that we've had the technology to do this for quite some time. Well, I know we have. But it took this long to figure out how to reliably monetize online views and lock it down with DRM. And that's really the only reason why companies are able to do it now. They say they've primed the market. There's money there now thanks to the work they've pushed for in digital restriction management. So now we can start doing these things. And it'll be like TV, where it'll be okay for the first 20 years, and then shit just starts getting so locked down, we'll have to move somewhere else, is what I'm afraid of happening.
So asked it right now if you think DRM is a good thing.
I would argue that it's a necessary evil, which I think is a conclusion that we came to in our last discussion last week when we were talking about Netflix fully allowing Linux users to watch their products.
Yeah. Actually, this is kind of old news now, but what did you think about, like, there was a big uproar over Firefox allowing or accepting the EME DRM restrictions in HTML5. What do you think about that?
I'm okay with it. As an end user that doesn't particularly care, I don't care that much about privacy just because of my history in the channel and whatnot. It's fine by me. Include whatever makes shit work. But how does yourself, as like being more pure, that type of thing, feel about it? Does it kind of taint Firefox for you?
I think that it was necessary because without it, Firefox would die and Mozilla would die.
Basically.
And it's no use dying for
your
no use,
ideals.
I'm not gonna say it like that because that sounds weird. But like Firefox
sounds like
or Mozilla being a martyr for that wouldn't have done anything. There would still be DRM in HTML5, so it wouldn't have accomplished anything. Maybe if like it had died and I don't know, everybody got convinced like they weren't going to do that, then that'd be different. But it wasn't really going to do anything, so I'm glad that they did change their stance on that. Even though it is a sad thing, I think on a live Mozilla can fight for the open web better than like a dead one.
Here's what I want to know: how does this affect Iceweasel? I'm Koriing right now. Is Iceweasel going to have to remove this part of the rendering or wherever this faulty code is?
I don't think so. I know GNU IceCat will. That's the GNU version of Firefox, but I don't think Iceweasel will.
The GNU version was Iceweasel.
No, that's the Debian.
Oh, okay.
Or the Debian.
IceCat probably will have that removed. I didn't know there was a difference between IceCat and Iceweasel. That's actually pretty interesting. Figured Iceweasel or IceCat was the the nightly of Iceweasel.
No, they're totally different things. GNU IceCat is for like Triskel and stuff like that.
Okay.
GNU Sense.
I've never installed any of those like heavily FreeTARD operating systems, so I wouldn't really know.
Sadly, IceCat it's a version 24 right now. It uses the extended support release for Firefox. It's based on the Firefox 24, so it's kind of old right now.
It's not too old. It's about like 6-7 months.
Yeah, it's kind of old, but not that old, but still kind of old.
I could sit here all day and just like run DRM into the ground, but the fact of the matter is, I can go on Netflix, watch Doctor Who, I can freaking use Steam and shit, all thanks to DRM. So, love-hate relationship is what I'll say right now. One particular such platform has had a bit of success. They hit a milestone this week. Good Old Games has 100 Linux titles, which is Good Old Games, for those of you who aren't gamers, which seems to be a decent amount of you from when we were talking about Destiny and whatnot, is just like a repertoire of all the old games from like the 90s and early 2000s and whatnot.
And they sell them for cheap.
Cheap
and
as
the
shit.
games don't die.
DRM free.
Yes, the games are DRM free.
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to say that the platform had DRM. I was trying to say that it's in the same vein as Steam.
Okay, I thought you alluded to that it did
No.
when you did the the transition.
It is
But
all.
yeah, GOG is awesome because DRM free. You just buy your game, you download it, it's yours.
And 100 fucking titles, bitch.
That's actually where I get a lot of my games.
In a way, it's interesting that some of those older games are harder to port to Linux than future games, which would seem, I guess, to the uninitiated in technology that it'll be harder to port a current gen game, but it's absolutely not. So I commend the people that have ported the older games. And the only reason I'm saying it's harder is because the newer engines have an export option. They just like bloop right to Linux.
Yeah, a lot of engines, they have like support for OpenGL, so makes it a little bit easier than older titles mainly use DirectX.
Nux, yes, Linux can indeed into that.
Yes, Nux asked if he can use emulators on Linux, which is really surprising because emulators run best on Linux. There's so many emulators for Linux. It's crazy.
Yeah, the whole point of an emulator is you can basically run on whatever the hell you want.
Yep.
I could run Atari Pac-Man on my toaster if I was so inclined. There's that.
Fuck.
I started imploding.
Alright, guys. I think we should just get to about wrapping it up. We're hitting almost 2 hours.
Yes, we are hitting almost 2 hours. Before we do, I want to take the time to, at this point, not try to transition at all, but just go down a list of topics and see if we miss anything, and just like fire off lightning rounds to discuss about this shit.
It's fine with me.
We've discussed everything in the technical section, except for Ohio Linuxfest. So if any of you Negroes are in the Ohio area, there's going to be one of America's largest Linux conferences in Ohio. I think the week of Halloween, I believe it is. So if any of you are interested in that, you can just stop on by. Talks from the kernel developers. There's
a lot of the community shows up at that conference. I know a lot of podcasters do as well. So it should be a fun time. I know I don't know if you guys listen to the Good New World Order, but he's going to be there. Klaatu.
Prof says Ohio, more like enjoy your tickets on the highway. Yeah, Ohio has the nation's worst drivers, so also enjoy that. Try to fly as closest to the convention center if you can if you're going to Ohio Linuxfest. I swear to God, dude, it's something about how flat it is over there, because there's nothing to see. You'd think they would learn to drive good on that shit. Nope. Now we get into my favorite section, which is deciding a user of the Fortnight.
Yes, a user of the Fortnight. So we had a few nominations. I'll let you name them off, and the way we picked it this time was we ran it through a random number generator from the nominations. But yeah, you go ahead, Dymatic.
Before that, I want to touch on that last week's winner, who was Lag Scout, gave literally no shits when we told him he was user of the week. It went way better than planned.
Did he didn't care? I wasn't around for that. Did he not care?
We said, hey, by the way, Lag Scout, you're our user of the week. And he said, implying arrow? What's that called? Meme arrow. He used a meme arrow and said, be at a bagel shop. So he just totally blew it off.
Okay.
And then he's told an awesome bagel story that I forget. We should get Lag Scout on the next podcast so he can tell us about his bagels.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
This week's nominations, though, are a first, which, honestly, I just realized what his name is. I thought it was AP Hurst. Your throat just squeaked so bad.
Sorry. When I laugh pretty hard, my voice gets kind of high. But yeah, can you tell us what he was nominated for?
You lose me again. Oh, dude, this is like special Snapples. Now I got him for the podcast. Okay, so yeah, I nominated him because he helped me with pre-algebra, or it wasn't really pre-algebra. It was a really easy calculus problem, and he argued about some shit early in the morning to get the discussion sparked. Which is the problem sometimes that our channel has, is after long periods of inactivity, there's just nothing to say. AP Hurst started a couple of those conversations, so we're extending a hand of gratitude because he does that. There is S. Crampo, I'm just gonna start reading everything like that.
Yeah,
But
go.
He
Go
plays Destiny, so it's reason enough for the nomination. You know, get on that and help me get me to the Hellmouth so I can get my exotic bounty if any of you play that shit. We have Kilogram because he's a pretty good unit of measurement.
KG, Anshin for being fucking awesome as always.
Yeah, just because he's Anshin.
Ancient? Yeah. You can't define him as other than being just ancient.
Yeah.
And then we have our wild card, not Flygon.
God damn. When he hears that shit. Alright, so we ran into the random. Wait, what?
Yeah, you can go into how we did it this week.
So yeah, apparently we wanted to make it more fair. And so we just put all the nominations into a random number generator. And the winner came out being KG or Kilogram. Pound. He is the user of the Fortnight. Congratulations.
So, congratulations, Kilogram. We'll make him our new standard.
Yeah. So
that's true. He's the channel standard. I like how that worked out.
Wow.
Uncled.
He's actually AFK.
What the fuck? How's that happen?
He's been AFK for like 30 minutes.
I know. Yeah. I took notice. So
yeah.
we can't let people back into this channel, and also we can't move because our recordings will stop. So
we can unmute people. I could do it.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, wait. Before we do that, do we have the chill lobby music? Is anybody on that?
Nope.
Piano, smooth jazz, anything.
I can't. My sound card is being stupid, so I can't. I would be able to do it normally, but I can't today, or I can't this time. We got nobody to.
So I guess we just start. We open the floodgates.
Yep. But before, you wanna sign off, or do you wanna open the floodgates and sign off, or?
How about this? Let's do the introduction because we also forgot to do that. And
it was just the intro.
We did the intro. Oh, you're back. Welcome back.
Laugh my ass off through the intro, I guess.
Go on.
Then we'll do an outro and we'll open people up.
Right, Al. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, listeners, and see you next fortnight. And good luck.